guess it started studying jazz and the university level, just learning the independence and breaking things up, but then, or playing more funk music that was more linear. But what I started to do is I realized that I didn't want to play two bass drums anymore. When I was younger, I did a lot of that, and I just thought, the music I play doesn't really need it, and I just don't really hear it that much, except for maybe the boo 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 at the end of the song or whatever. Gets the crowd going. But I just thought, sorry, we have a show. So I think what I started thinking, the way that I thought about it, was to free it up so it wasn't just a pattern. Was taking, and I talk about this on my DVD actually, I think, where I would just, instead of some of the bass drums, I would play it on the hi-hat, just to hear it that way. Where think of this as more, you can play the rhythm that the bass drum plays instead, or you can substitute the hi-hat for one of the kicks. Like if the pattern is, if it's 1, 2, 3 on the bass drum, I may choose to go or whatever. I'm just trying to think of whatever, say. That's not a good example. Let's see. Maybe a more simple one like and that just kind of it helped me to hear that it doesn't have to be all night or quarters when I'm on the ride cymbal or nothing. I just use it as a complement to the groove that's happening, So just trying those different patterns that come to mind and just intertwining, changing it up is one way to start. And then you have to work out the more independence, I guess, where you're playing this with something else at the same time, and those things might be a little more tricky. But that's a place to start anyway. You get the idea of, okay, I can let this be free. And that's what really did it for me, is thinking of it like that. I hope that helps a little bit. Anyone else?
I could add a comment to that actually. Like from a strictly like a swing jazz, the guy who, besides you, who does that, Jack DeJohnette does that a lot actually. Like he's totally right. It's like when you hear him play Time with Keith Jarrett's trio, like it's totally, the hi-hats, like all his stuff's in the ride cymbal, and then sort of once in a while the hi-hat kicks in. It's pretty interesting. It's cool.
Yeah, and just let it lay out for a while too, and then bring it in for the next chorus or something, and it could add a whole other, kind of building thing. And of course, using different sounds, I can obviously do that with my foot, but we all know how, we probably have all seen that, but finding new ways to use that, like depending on how long it rings and when you cut it off, can change the feel of the groove, I could just play a little. One thing I did in there was that I've been doing lately. It was an accident that I don't know how it happened. It just kind of was like, I don't usually like to play polyrhythm sounding stuff or obvious I don't like the mathematics of how it all sounds. I try to keep it as soulful as possible and just more about playing groove, But I guess that was like a 4/3, if you do think of things like that, which I usually don't, but I figured out that's what it was. So you know, if I'm playing no, is that 4/3? What is that? 6/4. Yeah. See, I don't even know what I'm doing.
Neither do I.
But I, you know, just obviously heard other drummers do things like that, but for me, I just never did it, and I was like, okay. So then I just kind of started adding that in the mix too, where it might be kind of a cool effect, but you know, sometimes it sounds really bad too. It just sounds, maybe it's not appropriate, but it's, you know, try to find the right place for it. Anyway, enough of hi-hat talk.